settle in, introduce yourself to your neighbor. Everybody say hi to everybody.
How you doing? Michael.
Salam.
Yes.
Great to be in New York City. I can't tell you how excited I was to come here, get a chance to meet all the champions, you guys that are here this morning. It says so much about each and every one of you. See, you're not like everybody else. You're here today to learn how to be an entrepreneur, to learn how to be a business owner, to learn how to have financial success. And you know, so far this morning has been so power-packed. How many of us got a lot out of what we heard so far? The best in this entire company, in this room. You know, when Ruben came up and spoke a little earlier, Ruben started this opportunity part-time. He was able to hit regional vice president. He was able to go out and literally change his family tree based on what he's been able to do in a very short time being with ACN. And then we had Juan Pietro. I got an opportunity to work with Juan in Colombia. We went to the country of Colombia. Juan was the guy that went into that marketplace, literally helped thousands of families dream again in Colombia. I went down to Colombia with Juan. I don't speak Espanol, so it was a little difficult for me. Poquito Espanol. But I cried with the people of Colombia. Some of the most amazing people. When they saw mobile phone service, when they saw the opportunity to make money on a cell phone, something everybody had, and the opportunity in Colombia exploded based on the leadership of Juan and his organization. They did an amazing job, and now I know that there are people here today that were invited from people in the country of Colombia, and I want to welcome them to the training here today. So great to have them in the room as well. And then we hear Rick Cordero. How many of us got a lot out of Rick? Anytime I get a chance to listen to Rick, I don't need coffee. I don't need an energy drink. I don't need, man, he is just vibrating. How many of us got that listening to him talk about having a whole meeting, get off to a fast start, making some of that money that he spoke about here earlier today? If we could, let's give all these leaders a round of applause. I'm nobody special. I came to a presentation just like this. I wanted something to work for my family, just like I'm sure all of you do for your family. I was the guy that grew up in the working class family. My parents had a job. Their parents had a job. Their parents had a job. So what do you think the information I was given growing up?
Get a job.
Get a job. What kind of job?
Any job.
Good job. Right? The Loch Ness Monster of jobs, yes or no? And see, that kind of thinking had kept our family broke. That job mentality thinking. And so a lot of us come from that same situation. So understand, when you leave here today, a lot of people you and I are going to go talk to have that conditioning, social conditioning, where that's a hard thing for them to break because everybody they know is doing the same thing. So the first thing you're going to have to remember is being here this morning, separate yourself from the herd. You're not like everyone else. 97% of our country works for 3%. 3% have the businesses. 3% control the success in our country. You've got to start thinking like the 3%. What does that mean? That means my family did not understand what I was doing when I got involved. My family said, "You didn't give them any money, did you?" Little bit. Now, they wouldn't have no problem with me spending $500 on a weekend at a casino. They wouldn't have had any problem with me going away on a ski vacation for $500. See, that's called social conditioning, yes or no? Yes. See, that'd be okay to spend money on things that do not make you money. That's what most people are conditioned to go do, yes or no? That's the school system we were brought up in. That's the neighborhoods we were brought up in. That's the people that we spend time with. So the first thing you got to come to this mindset, into this business, is you are now the 3%. You are going to be different than most people that you and I are going to run into. Now, in the New York marketplace, what I love about New York is you've got diversity from around the world. Do you realize we do business in 27 countries? Do you realize that today, by signing up in ACN, you're immediately allowed to do business in Europe? You're immediately allowed to do business in Korea, in Japan, in Australia, and there are people that live in your zip code that are from those places, that you can make money around the world because of this opportunity. It now became possible. It's possible now. Before I I became an ACN representative, it wasn't possible. Does that make sense? The possibility entered into my life when I signed up as an independent rep of this company. Now, in the New York marketplace, there was a gentleman that got started. This is Success from Home magazine. You know what I love about this magazine? It doesn't say Broke magazine. It says Success from Home. How many of us here just like the title Success? Yeah. And they interview the 4 guys that own this company, and inside this magazine, they talk about the charitable contributions. They talk about how this company built a Ronald McDonald House in Charlotte, North Carolina. What does that mean? That means they gave back. They talked about how we fed 3.5 million children in the United States of America last year alone. Wow. So that's who you're associated with. They went through and they did articles on the successful people that signed up like you here today that went out and lived their dreams based on an opportunity that showed them how to go do it. Now, one individual I want to read, and he actually falls on page 51. And on page 51 of this magazine, there's an entire article written about an individual, and here's what it said. It said, the ACN system is simple to follow. It says, M.D. Rahman, a former New York City cab driver. And the New York City cab driver is a multi-millionaire in our opportunity after 5 years. What does that tell you? That tells you that a New York City cab driver signed up in this business and became a multi-millionaire in this business. How many of you here have a lot more confidence now? Now, I'm not here to take away from what MD did before ACN. MD was a person looking for an opportunity like us here today. And all he did is took advantage of this business. Now, some of you here today, you're not thinking big enough. Does that make sense? Meaning when MD started, MD didn't think, I'm going to become a senior vice president. He just thought this was a great idea. He became confident by coming to training. Training is what made him successful. Today, he lives in the country of Australia. He is out there building teams in Australia. He's building teams in Japan. I was in Korea at the beginning of the year, and I met MD in Korea. And guess what they have in Korea? Cell phones. I was there. I seen them on the cell phone. It's absolutely true. And so you have a global opportunity, but I read that story because it's inspiring. And you're going to see a picture of his 3 boys on the cover. And this one son, Alfie, when I got a chance to meet him the very first time, I said, what's your favorite car? And he said, Yellow Cab. Because his dad was his hero. Just like your children look to you as their hero. It's not the sports figure on the wall. It's not the actor or actress on the wall. It's their mom and it's their dad that is their hero. Yes or no? And so MD started this business. 5 years later, when I asked his son, what's your favorite car? He said, yellow Ferrari. MD impacted his children because he changed his own life. Does that make sense? Yes. His kids will not drive New York City cabs. His kids will not out doing those type of jobs. Why? Because his father changed his family tree with the way he thought. So, are you going to have to go out and talk to people? 100%. Are you going to have to deal with some baby family members that don't understand what you're doing? Absolutely. That's called normal. If your family floods it, it says, oh my God, that's the greatest idea I've ever heard, call yourself rare. Rare. The only people that have ever had their family support them in this business when they started were business owners. I have one girl in Pittsburgh, her name is Shayla Smith. Shayla's a regional director, has almost 1,000 customers. She's 21 years old in ACN. Her father was a business owner. When she signed up in this business, her father said, this is the greatest idea that I've seen. You need to do this business. While she was in college. Now she's graduating school, never writing a resume. Never going on a job interview. She has 1,000 customers. How many of us agree she changed her life because she was a business owner at a young age? Now, that's a very rare story. How many of us agree? Most of our friends are not going to encourage you in what you're doing. I was blown away when I got an ACN because people came into my life that encouraged me. That said things like, you can do it. I know you're bad. Don't expect to be good when you start. Nothing in life that you start being good. You start bad first. How many of us watch children walk? How did they start? Bad. Right or wrong? You put them up, they fell down. You put them up, they fell down. They put them up and they stood there for a second and everybody applauded. That's going to be you in this business. People are going to come into your life, just like people came into my life and encouraged me when I started. And the final thing is society. Society does not promote business owners. Do you realize that if this was one job at FedEx here today, if there was one job at FedEx for $65,000 a year, the line would be across the street. Across the street for $65,000, yes or no?
Yes.
People would be in line with their resume. How do I look? Right or wrong? Wanting to go get that $65,000 a year job because of social conditioning. Yet, we have an opportunity for unlimited income potential. What can we make here?
Unlimited.
Unlimited. People go, how much can somebody make here?
Unlimited.
How many of you just like the word unlimited? Especially when it comes to income. Unlimited income. How much? Unlimited. And look around the room here today. We got a full room of people, then how many of us agree there would be more people in line for a job here this morning than there is for an opportunity for unlimited income potential because of social conditioning? They are conditioned to think that way. And the final thing all of you guys got to overcome, let's say you overcome your family. That's a landmine. I lost some people with their families. Blew up. Told me I can't do it. Mom thinks it's a bad idea. Is mom a millionaire?
No.
No.
So you're asking advice from somebody that's not a millionaire how to be one. That's like me giving you directions in New York and I'm not from New York. How many of us agree? A little confusing. Right or wrong? So the point that I'm making is that you're going to lose some people there. I've lost some people with friends. I lost some people who said, oh, well, they don't think it's a good idea. What does your friend do? Oh, he has a job. Well, if the question was jobs, then he would be the expert. That is not the question we're asking. We're talking about business ownership. And then the third one's going to be society as a whole. Guys, listen, it's not designed. When did they teach you the tax system? Kindergarten to 12th grade, 13,000 hours. All of us went to school, yes or no?
Yes.
Right? All of us went to school. When did they teach you the tax system?
Never.
That's called public incarceration. They're incarcerating our children in the educational system, not teaching them the system of tax that you will be in all your life. That's why when they changed the tax code here this year, every business owner blew a big old bottle of champagne. Everybody else said, what happened? So understand you're different here today. And you've got to remember that fact when you leave here. That yes, you're going to have to go to trainings. Yes, you're going to have to relearn everything that was told to you. Because everything that was told you was not right. That's why everybody's frustrated financially in the greatest country in the world. How do I know it's the greatest country in the world? No one's swimming anywhere else. How many of you get a call at night going, we're going to North Korea? 100% unemployment. 100% employment in that country. Can we agree? No one's going anywhere else. Everybody's coming to this country. And the problem is people in this country forget it's the greatest country in the world because it's the land of opportunity. The opportunity to own a business. That was why this country was formed, for the right for you to be a business owner, yet 97% of our country gives that right up. And it's not their fault. It's their family's fault. It's their friends' fault. It's society's fault. But we're going to break those chains here today. And we're going to start getting you to think different so you can have a different outlook in your future from your family and your friends. Here's the second thing. You've got to believe you can win. You've got to be here today believing you can win. Now, here's why I say that. Before I ever made money in ACN, I was sitting in a Ferrari before I ever had the ability to buy one. I was at the Rolex dealer. I was putting watches on. I was saying, give me that watch. Oh, yeah, that's not, I like that one. Is that the only color you got? I had no money in my pocket. But it has to start here first. Yes or no? I was walking in $1 million mansions. I felt what an 800 square foot bathroom looks like. The realtor was talking to me like I could buy it. Mr. Major, let me show you the downstairs. Yeah, that'd be wonderful. And I had no money. But it has to start right here. People are buying them every day. People are driving them every day. So if you can get through your family, and you can get through your friends, and you can get through society, the final piece is you gotta believe in you. You gotta be there saying, why not me? Why not me? All I have to do is talk to people. And I don't have to ask people their opinion. Does that make sense? The problem in our business is we ask people their opinion. What do you think? I don't care what they think. My mentor said, quit thinking. Do you know why C students employ A students? How many have ever heard that before? You know why? Because C students don't think. That's why they're C students. Does that make sense? When I came to ACN, I was a C student. My mentor said, turn left. All right, I don't want to think. I got through school through copying. I had my technique down. I could look down the row out of my first I could study the guy's paper next to me, no problem. I came into ACN, they go, the people that make all the money copy. Oh, this is fantastic. So, does this help everybody? Are you getting something out of this? Understand you gotta have that long-term thinking. You gotta come into this with the thought pattern of where can I be in the next 3 to 5 years. Most people spend their life planning summer vacations instead of planning their life. Most people plan their summer vacation. I said, where are you going to be July 4th? Oh, I'm going to be in Ocean City, Maryland. It's going to be unbelievable. 28th Street, it's going to be incredible. We're going to have a good time. We're going to go out. We're going to have a good time. Where are you going to be in 5 years? I don't know. You see the problem. So, what's going to make you successful? The first thing is you got to take action. In our business, taking action is extremely simple. We sort, don't sell. We sort, don't sell. You know what I loved about a script? They had one. When I started, I came to this training, I'll never forget it, and the mentor at the time, his name was Mike. Mike was 26 years old. He was making $33,000 a month at 26 years old. Now, you know what impressed me the most about him? $33,000 a month. And everything Mike said, he would laugh at everything, right? And here's what he said. He said, Patrick, if you take great notes and you pay close attention, you're going to retain 7% of what you hear. So that first training I went to, I didn't hear script. So when I left the training, I went out and started explaining ACN. Here was the problem. The people that knew me didn't want to listen to me. Anyone gonna run into that same problem?
Yeah.
Right? So then the second training I went to, they said there was a script. I said, oh my God, there's a script. This is incredible. Do you look at other ways of making money? That's all I would say to people. Do you look at other ways? I do? Okay, great. You got to meet my coach. You got to meet my mentor. You got to meet the successful person. I'm just looking at it myself, and I put people together in my living room, and I pushed play in a video, and I sat down. And I heard the same presentation over and over and over and over again until I could get it. Do you realize that the Rolling Stones, how many of you have heard of that band before?
Yeah.
Have made hundreds of millions of dollars playing the same song.
Yes.
What do you think they do every night?
Same song.
Play the same song every single night and make hundreds of millions of dollars. So people go, what do? I play the same song every single day. The same song. So the first thing you're going to do is, number one, you're going to remember that the more trainings you come to, the more information that you're going to get. Number two, you got to make money. What do you think everybody's going to ask you in this business? Have you made any
Money.
If you can document, okay, it's called proof of concept. If you can get proof of concept, you can recruit the world. Because everybody has great ideas, yes or no? How many of you know people have great ideas? You know what I think, right? Oh, we should do this and we should do that. And you go, well, show me that it works. So the first thing you got to do is you got to come in, and I love what these leaders talked about here today, is if you go out and get 10 energy bills, they're going to give you $600. Now, how did I get 10 energy bills? Is I invited people to my house, and if they said no, or they said I need to think about it, or I'm not sure, or I got to do some research, I said, would you do me a favor and become my customer? Do you realize by getting 10 energy bills, they're going to give you $600? Plus the $100 for getting qualified, how much is that total? $700. Now, if somebody says it doesn't work, you go, well, listen, they just sent me $700. How many of us agree? Proof of concept.
Right.
Now all of a sudden they're looking at you going, it works. It works. Now we don't have to debate whether it works. Now you're influencing people because you're showing them it works. The most important part, if you're new here today, you gotta go make money. You gotta go make money. Because if you make money, everybody behind you will make money. If you don't make any money, nobody's interested in what you're saying, because you're saying the same thing everybody in this world is saying is, I have a great idea. And great ideas are great, but there's no proof of concept. Second thing, if you get in today and you bring 2 people and help them get involved and help them get 7 customer points in your 30 days, what does that mean? 30 days from the day you start. So whatever day you start, it's 30 days. 29, 28, 27, 26. You have 30 days to get 2 people that say yes to this business and help them get customers. Now they'll pay you an additional $400. How much is that? $1,100. If you get 1 extra person that comes in your 30 days and gets 7 customer points, they pay you an additional $600. How much is that?
17.
$1,700. Now, proof of concept?
Yes.
People are excited? You're building distribution? You got other people out there getting customers? Your team is starting to grow? The hardest part in our business is your first 30 days. Because you have to overcome all those hurdles I spoke about. You got to overcome all those hurdles. And those hurdles are normal. So the first thing you want to do is remember, we're not in the convincing business. We are in the sorting business. We're sorting for people. That's it. You look at other ways of making money? Yes, great. No, great. Doesn't matter what they say. We're looking for people looking for us. Now, I love what Rick talked about. See, there's 3 types of people you're going to run into. First type of person, let's imagine you were to leave here today and your spouse tells you, look, before you go home, go buy some apples. We need some apples. You know I love apples. And you say, no problem. You go to the produce aisle at the local market and you see a bin of apples and you put your hand in the apple and all of a sudden your fingers go through the apple. It's a brown apple. And you pull your fingers out and you look at it and you wipe your fingers off. Now, would you put that apple in the basket? No. Would you take it home and say, honey, I brought you a brown apple? It just needs motivation. It just needs chocolate. I know it's got some red inside of it somewhere. Let's just give that a personal development conversation. Can we agree? None of us would do that. See, there's 3 types of people. The first type of person is a red apple. I was a red apple. Somebody called me up and said, you look at other ways of making money? You know what I heard in that sentence? Money. Yeah, I need that. I don't have enough of that. I looked at my bank account. It was hungry. I had a skinny bank account. Anyone know anything like that? Right? I had student loans. I had Sally Mae. Anybody ever heard of her? I call her Aunt Sally Mae. She called me so much. Called me looking for her money. Right? So all I heard in that sentence was what? Money. The second type of person is a green apple. What does that mean? That means they have questions. I need to know more about what you're talking about. Let me tell you how you get them to come. Curiosity. Curiosity. Do you realize that the movie industry spends tens of millions of dollars to build a movie, and they get you to go to the movie on a 15-second commercial? 15 seconds. So how did they get you to go to the movies? A 15-second commercial. How many of you have been to the movie and the best part of the movie was the 15-second commercial? How many of you ever sat in a movie like, whoever wrote that commercial, man, they got me here, man. That was a horrible movie, but boy, that commercial was exciting. You got to be that commercial. You have to put a little egg timer next to your phone and put it for 1 minute. And when that thing hits a minute, hang up. Why? Because if you talk more than a minute, you're explaining, you're answering questions, you're trying to do the presentation. Here's the problem. People are self-defeating creatures. If they hear something they don't think they can do, they won't come. So more information just means you're scaring them. If my friend's mom would have called me up and said, Patrick, do you want to sell phone service? Guess what I would have said? No! What do I know about that? I was a C student. I can't spell. right? I have all kinds of problems. Anyone know what I'm talking about? If they would have said, do you want to get involved in the telecommunication deregulation of energy around the world? No, bad student. She didn't say that. She said, do you want to make money? Yes, I came over and they said, listen, all you have to invite. Man, I've been doing that for years. Anybody ever have a party? Did you ever have a party so big that you're at your own party going, who do you know here? Right? You ever had one of those parties? You're like, who invited you? Mom. Who's Mom? Right? Like, Mom, who's that? Oh, I'm your cousin's next door neighbor's best friend. Okay, right? Have you ever had one of those parties? So I'm thinking to myself, I can invite. That's all they need me to do is invite. I don't have to do anything else except invite. So the reason I signed up in this business because I believed I could do it. But if you would have started with deregulation of telecommunication, energy explosion, we're getting customers in Colombia, voice over IP, I would have never came. Why? Because I thought I couldn't do it. So more information scares people away. It scares them away. Listen, how many of us would agree most people are not technical? Most people are not technical. So once you start getting into technical conversations, you're losing people. But let me tell you what gets them to come. Curiosity, excitement, right? How many of you heard if you light yourself on fire, the world will come to watch you burn? How many of us heard that before? Light yourself on fire. That's all you got to do. Now here's what I found. And you know it's not a no forever. I've had people that told me no in this business that came down later and ended up becoming representatives. Because things change in everybody's life. Some people aren't even thinking about the price of college yet. Because their kids are 9. But 9 years from now, guess what they're going to be thinking about? There's people that aren't even thinking about retirement because they're in their 40s. But guess what's going to happen when they get about 58? And they realize they have more life than money. How many of you notice that when you walk into a McDonald's, there's 16-year-olds there and 70-year-olds there? Yes. The jobs that people are starting at 16 are the jobs they're ending their life with.
Yes.
They're packing the bags at the supermarket. They're the checkout clerks. You don't think they're there because they want to be. You don't think they said, man, when I turn 70, you know what my dream is? To go back to my 16-year-old job. When I was 16 years old, man, I had so much fun at the deli counter. It was so great when I was 16. When I'm 75, my golden years, I want to be cutting meat. See, here's the reality, is that a no is not a no forever. Don't take it personally. Don't try to convince. Sort. That's all you have to do is sort. Now, here's what I love. Some will, some won't, so what? Someone's waiting.
Next.
I got rich with people I didn't even know. People I didn't even know. I had a guy come to my house. Literally came to my house. How many of you ever had somebody come do any maintenance at your house? I had a guy come to my house. He goes, what do you do? I don't do nothing. He goes, I don't want to do nothing either. I said, man, you need to do what I do. I get paid on bills. He said, everybody I know has a bill. I said, man, everybody I know has a bill too. I said, I need you to meet my mentor. And he came to a home meeting. He got a chance to see the presentation. He signed up. He brought me to a gentleman that brought 1,000 customers to the table. So what does that mean? That means I didn't even know this guy. Some of your greatest reps are people you don't even know that you're going to get a chance to meet. How many of you heard of the law of attraction? Yeah. The law of attraction. They will come into your life. You just have to open up your eyes and take a look. Now, here's what I found. You're about to go on an emotional roller coaster. How many of you been on an emotional roller coaster? Listen, if your hand isn't up, you're brand new. You have no idea what's about to happen. Now, before ACN, I wasn't excited. You know why? Because I had nothing to get excited about. Anyone know what I'm talking about? How many of you know somebody, and I was this person, I used to get excited about a party. My cousin Ron, 2 weeks from now is going to have a party. Now, ladies, you know what I'm talking about, right? You're calling your girlfriends, what are you wearing? Right? I don't want to wear the same thing you're wearing, right or wrong. Right? Oh, we get all dolled up, you go to the party, and the party's a big bummer. Anybody been to that party? Yeah. Right? Anybody ever been to a party and you're hanging out with people that are complaining? Oh man, my back hurts, my leg hurts, right? Pretty soon your back hurts, your leg hurts. I've been around people that are so negative that I went outside with the smokers. You know what I mean? When you smoke, they're smoking today, right? See, that was my life before ACN. When I came in here and something inside of my heart started to beat again, I started to wake up. I got my dreams out of the closet. Remember those dreams? How many of you had those dreams in the closet? Man, when I was a little kid, I never looked at my dad's Caravan and said, Dad, one day, I'm going to drive that Caravan. Open doors open, unbelievable. Mom, that Hyundai, oh boy, that's my car. No, when I was a kid, what kind of cars do kids want? Lamborghinis, Ferraris, Mercedes, monster trucks, right or wrong? That's kids. In the Bible it says, be like a child. What? Children get excited. What do children get excited about?
Everything.
Everything. They're excited about Christmas right now, yes or no? Christmas is coming, yes or no? You gotta be like a child. Second thing children dream. Ask any child what car they want, I promise they won't say yours. They never will. Oh, Mom, you know I love that car. Right? Kids dream. And the third thing is kids know what they want. They know what they want. So number one, you gotta get excited. Number two, you gotta dream. And number three, you gotta know what you want. And how do you know what you want? You write it down. You know why I wrote things down? Because my mentor said write it down. Write everything down. Write every goal down you want. Anything you want, write it down. See, there's something magical about writing it down. It's statistically proven. It is proven as gravity is a law. Whether you understand gravity or not, can we agree? It doesn't care if you understand it. That's true. Oh, I don't believe in gravity. Step off the building. If you don't believe, it has nothing to do with the law. Does that make sense? Writing things down, attract them into your life. I wrote down everything I wanted. I would not write certain things down because I didn't think I was worth those things. And it was free to write them down. My mentor said, write down everything you want. I'm like, oh, I want that, but I don't think I could ever get that. So I would back down my dreams that were totally free to write down because I didn't feel that I could get them. How crazy is that? That took about 6 years of training. To then become unlimited dreams, unlimited goals, unlimited possibilities. So when you get in, you're all excited. And then you're going to start talking to people and you're going to think, man, this isn't as easy as I thought it was. You're going to find out that you got to sort through some people. This is like finding diamonds. How much dirt do you got to shovel to find diamonds? A lot. You got to shovel through some people. Listen, why did I put a lot of people in my living room? Because I didn't think that I needed to get a whole bunch of people to find a couple to say yes, but guess what I found? That I had to go through a lot of people. And because of mental incarceration, they're thinking job mentality. I know people that lose their job and go get another job. That's almost like the girl stands you up at the altar. She breaks your heart. You have your whole family at the wedding. We're all here today for the wedding. My bride didn't show up. And then I get back with her. And I call my family and friends. It's different this time. Right or wrong? Right. Do you know anyone that lost their job and got another job? Yeah. Yes. So guess what? Those individuals said no when I showed them the business. Then I had somebody else, they said, I know everybody. And I was out of my mind. And I found out nobody knew them. And I had some people that said, I'm going to be all the way with you. And their mom blew them out of the business. I can't do that. My mom thinks it's a bad idea. My mom did research. Yeah, the same research your mom did when she went to McDonald's and ate a Big Mac. All the nutritional value in that piece of meat. See, the point that I'm making is that the ups and downs are normal because you're all going to go through them. You're going to get excited. You're going to question yourself. You're going to get excited. You're going to question yourself. You're going to get excited. You're going to question yourself. And if you're not doing those things, you're brand new. That means you're at the top of the roller coaster. I can tell where people are in the roller coaster when I talk to them. Can we agree Rick's at the top of the roller coaster, yes or no?
Yes.
When you talk to Rick, he's like, right? And I call other people, how you go, oh, okay, Pat. Who died? Well, my cousin doesn't want to be a customer, you know, and on the roller coaster. Right? That's called normal. I can tell where they are by the tone of their voice. Now, what's going to get you through the down? See, the ups are easy. Does that make sense? The ups are easy. That's the easy part. It's a child that can get excited when things are going well. That's the easy time to get excited. Let me tell you the hardest time to get excited. When everything's going bad. Let me tell you when the champions get excited. When everything's going bad. When people are quitting, you go, good, they're quitting. Get rid of those people. Make room for new people. That's a hard thing to do, right or wrong. That's what my mentor said. He said, Patrick, you got to be excited all the time. Even when things aren't going well. Even when you come to the training and nobody came with you. Even when your best friend said it was a bad idea. Even when your mom sent you every article of every single person, never made $1 in ACN. Does not matter. You got to be excited all the time. And this is called mental conditioning. And that's why billionaires are billionaires, because they don't care what people think. Every billionaire on planet Earth, you know what they don't care? What anyone thinks. And you study any billionaire, take a minute, go read an article, go read a book, you know what the billionaire says? I don't care. And everybody loves that person, because they don't care. Let me tell you what every broke person does. Cares what people think. They care. And because they care, they never succeed, because they're trying to please everyone. Success is lonely, folks, because 97% of the population is never going to be successful. That's why successful people live in certain neighborhoods. Their kids go to certain schools. They don't want to talk to people that are not successful. You know why people have a fence around their house that are successful? They don't want to talk to you. They don't want you wandering off the street. How'd you get it? No, how'd you get it? Can I come in? Right? Here's what you're going to find. Right or wrong? Successful people never give you their opinion. It's called consulting. They write books. They charge you money. Now, broke people, the cheapest commodity on earth is opinions. And before you take somebody's opinion, look at their report card. That's called the money in the bank. See, if somebody wants to give me their opinion, and I don't want to be where they are financially, I can't listen to what they have to say. Does that mean you want to give me family advice, friendly advice, religion advice, political advice? I'm all ears. But when you want to talk about money, unless you show me your report card, I do not want to listen to what you have to say. I got to protect my mind. And how do I protect my mind? Number one, what do you read? I came to these seminars. My mentor said, read a book called Think and Grow Rich. If you're taking notes, write that book down. Think and Grow Rich. You know what the book said? Think and Grow Rich. The guy that wrote the book is named Napoleon Hill. He was commissioned to write it by a gentleman named Andrew Carnegie. Anyone ever hear of Andrew Carnegie before? He was the wealthiest human being at the time on planet Earth. And what the wealthiest human being on planet Earth said, why am I rich and so many people aren't? Makes no sense to me. Can't be my education because I don't got one. Can't be my upbringing because my parents were dirt poor. So how did a dirt poor guy with no education become financially free? So he got an author to go around and interview people. You know who he interviewed? Charles Schwab. Anyone hear that name before?
Yep.
He interviewed people like Henry Ford. Anyone ever hear that name before? He interviewed people like Thomas Edison. Anybody hear those names before? And what he found out, that those people possessed 13 things that made them successful. Now, if somebody interviewed the richest people on planet Earth and said, here's why they're rich, and there's 13 reasons why they're rich, how many of us think we could pick up that book? You know what every $1 million house has? A library. You know what every broke person has? A big TV. You ever go to someone's house and go, wow, that's a big TV. A lot of commitment there. TV's designed to keep people down. That's what it's designed to do. Books are designed to free your mind. Now, I sat in this training and literally said, oh my God, I gotta read. I made it through school without reading. Now I gotta start reading. And I read that book dozens of times. Dozens of times. If you don't take anything away from what I said, read that book. That book will change your family tree. That book is powerful. So, are you going to have to sort through some people? Absolutely. Are you going to go up and down on the roller coaster? Absolutely. What's going to keep you in the game is your reason why. You got to have a reason for doing what we're doing here today, because it's easy to do, but it's easy not to do. See, here's what I found. It was easy to go out and hang out with my friends, but it was easier not to do that. See, I had to come up with a reason why. And I sat in this training and they talked about what is the reason you're doing this business. And it took about 10 trainings for me to really come up with something that was real important to me. And for me, it was my parents. My parents were struggling. My parents didn't have enough money. My parents were worried about money. I grew up in a family of lack. You know what a family of lack is? We don't have enough. Do you realize as a child, there's only two fears any of you had? The fear of falling and the fear of loud noises. Every other fear you have, somebody stuck in your head.
That's right.
That means they stuck that fear in your head. You never had a fear of lack before. That lack fear was given you by other people. So I grew up with what? Not enough. Oh, we can't buy that. We can't go, we can't shop there. We can't vacation there. That's not us. That's other people. That's not us. Why? That was put in my head by other people. So my reason for doing this business was my parents. And that's what got me committed to doing it. That's what gave me the, overcome the fear of picking up the phone. Are you going to have some fears picking up the phone? Yeah, because you're thinking. You're an A student. C students don't think. They just pick up the phone. Call people. I got a number. I got to call people. A students are like, well, let me think. Is it the right time to call them? I don't want to call them at the right time. I don't want to bother them. I don't want to call them at the wrong time. I don't want to call them on a Tuesday. I don't want to call them Wednesday. It's church night for most people. Right or wrong? C students, all right, hello, do you look the other way to make money? No, they don't look the other way. Look the other way. That's why C students get rich, because they don't think. Some of your biggest burdens are you think too much. Smart people here today, it's going to be very difficult for you. It's going to be very difficult for you, because you're going to spend all your time thinking. You're going to spend all your time, what about this, what about that, what about this, what if that happens? Like you have 10 things happening before anything even happens. You're like, what do I say if they say this? They haven't said anything yet. Well, I want to be prepared. People ask me questions about things that I've never heard anybody ask me in 17 years. Because they're smart. Your job is not to think. There's no money in thinking, folks. There's only money in doing. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So what's going to pull you through it is your reason why. Be present with why you're here today. There's a reason why all of you are here, yes or no? Yes. There's something inside of you that said, I was made to do more. I was put on this earth to have more. Let me share something with you. The opportunity to help people is here today, but you've got to get present with why you're doing it. Now, the company's the same for all of us. Here's what I love about this company. ACN's been around for 26 years. What does that mean? That means they've been around for 26 years.
Yes.
What does that mean? That means they've been around for 26 years. What does that mean? That means that they have a track record. Does that make sense?
Yes.
That if you come into ACN and become a successful person in ACN, you're not going to be the first person. There's already people that have done it. Lots and lots of people that have done it. So when I came in, I looked at the company and I thought to myself, well, I need to know everything about the company. And guess what I found? They're a great company. Been around a long time, had a lot of success behind them. They have some of the biggest companies in the world doing business with them, yes or no? AT&T, DirecTV, Dish Network. Can we agree? These are big companies.
Yes.
Big billion-dollar companies that said, we want to do business with ACN. So can we agree if a billion-dollar company wants to do business with ACN, it's okay for me?
Yeah.
If a billion-dollar company said it's a good opportunity, it's okay for me. So then after I was done looking at the company, I said, well, I need to know about these services. I've used them all my life. So I love people that give me, well, I need to know about the services. Great. What did you pay per firm in gas 2 years ago? Show me the supply portion of your energy bill. Right? So understand that when you look at our services, we have some of the greatest services out there and more to come. We're going to launch another service at the end of this month, which I'm going to take a minute and talk about here at the end. We're going to launch identity protection. Now, what is identity protection, guys? Identity protection is people making sure that nobody can take your identity and open up a loan without your knowledge. That nobody can take your social and your date of birth and become you somewhere else in the world and start taking money out of your account. Before a home computer, nobody needed ID protection because nobody had people's social security numbers. Today, how many of you see the data breaches that are happening? Target, Marriott, Equifax, 140 million people lost their social security because somebody had a data breach. So what does that mean? That means that their social security number is floating around the webs, the World Wide Web, and somebody can grab it, open up a car loan, open up a bank account, take money out of a bank account, and the only way you know these things are happening is when you start getting letters from creditors. And I've met many, many people that have had to deal with it, and it is a major problem in our country that is becoming worse every year. 4% of our country has their identity protected, meaning they pay a monthly fee to make sure nobody takes their identity. I've been a LifeLock customer for 6 years. For 6 years, you know why? Because I have something to take. Does that make sense? I mean, before I had something to take, I didn't really care. Take my identity, man. If you get some money, call me. stuff, you're like, whoa, right? I worked really hard to get what I have. I don't want anyone to take it without my knowledge. Talk to anybody in law enforcement, you know what they'll tell you? If somebody takes your identity, they call the police does an IP address search, oh, it came back in the Bahamas. Oh, it came back in China. Oh, it came back in Africa, there's nothing we can do. There's nothing we can do. If you know anybody in banking, ask anybody in banking what they do when someone takes your identity. Oh, I have a lady that I've met, she works at a credit union. She said, I've signed up hundreds of people for identity protection because I don't want to have to deal with when they come in and tell me what's happened to them. So, can we agree it's the birth of an industry? You're at the beginning of an industry. Now think about just for 1 second, when people went from riding horses to driving cars, can we agree Henry Ford got rich? Because he was the first person to mass produce automobiles. He didn't invent cars, cars were already invented, he got in the mass distribution of cars. Now think about when he started. How many of you agree that people probably laughed at him? Stupidest idea I've ever heard. The car went 4 miles an hour. No gas stations in America. Everybody was riding a horse. Can we agree people said, I'll never drive a car? 100 years later, what do you see outside?
No horses.
Bunch of cars. Now who got rich in the car business? The guy selling a car today, or the person that invented mass distribution of cars?
Invented one.
Henry Ford, right? So the people that are at the beginning become the wealthiest. Can we agree that if you've ever, I don't know if you've ever done this, but how many of you, like on a summer day, like in August, it gets hot here, doesn't it, in New York? How many of you ever opened the door to a porta-john? After the sun has been baking on it all day. How many of you ever opened the door and said, I don't need to go? I'll hold it. How many of you ever been in that situation? Now, do you realize that over 100 years ago, they had what was called outhouses? That's how everybody went to the bathroom 100 years ago. Now imagine the first person that got into indoor plumbing. Imagine when he went to people and said, you know that outhouse? I'm going to stick it in your house. Next to the kitchen. What do you think people said? Oh my God, I will never have an outhouse in my house. 100 years later, what does everybody have? Bathrooms. Who got wealthy in the bathroom business? The guy selling them today, or the person that re-outfitted the entire country 100 years ago? The people that are at the beginning get the wealthiest. How many of you remember landline phones? How many of you remember those yellow phones on the wall of people's houses? Imagine when people had, remember the bag phone? How many of you remember the bag phone? How many remember people like, my dad was like, I would never get one of those. Well, first of which they were expensive, yes or no? It was like $5 a minute, right or wrong. And what did I will never get one. Oh, I don't want people to know where I am. Oh, I will never get one of those phones. Now, who got wealthy in the wireless industry? Guys selling wireless today, or people that sold bag phones 25 years ago? 25 years ago, yes or no? Because they were at the beginning. Now, when somebody starts something new, everybody laughs. Everybody laughs. But here's what my mentor said. He said, the person that laughs last, laughs the longest. So that means when my friends were laughing at me, oh, you're doing that business? Oh, you're crazy. Oh, Pat's going to another training on Saturday morning. Oh, you can't go out Friday night. You got to get that training on Saturday. What do you think, you don't think they were laughing? Who calls them now and laughs? Oh, where are you at today? Work? Where are you going to be tomorrow? Where? Oh, dude, this is like an epidemic. You're always there. I'll call you tomorrow. I got to get some more sleep. See, here's what I'll share with you. Is when you start something, you're going to have those type of situations. We are bringing out identity protection that might not make a big deal to you today, but in your lifetime, everybody will have it. You know why? Because it was like home alarm systems. 50 years ago, how many of you grew up in an area where nobody had a home alarm? Right? 50 years ago, right? How many of you grew up? My dad left the door open. My mom left the keys in the car. We went on vacation with the front door open. Anyone else here have that same situation? Then what changed? Somebody got robbed. What happened when somebody got robbed? Oh my God. Everybody in the neighborhood had to get what?
Alarm.
Alarm, right? They were up and down the street. Everybody got, Judy on 3 blocks over, she got robbed. Right? And then everybody got home alarm systems. Identity protection will be the same way. Oh, I don't need that until somebody loses their identity. And you're sitting there watching a friend or a family member go through all the nonsense of somebody taking their identity. You know what they're going to have? I need that identity protection. and you're gonna be there at the very beginning. Does everybody catch the vision of what's happening here today?
Yes.
I just want you to understand the magnitude of what we're talking about, because here's what I find. Most people are gonna miss it. How many of you have relatives in your life that live to the age of 70 that tell you what they missed? They were at the right place, at the right time. They could have bought, right, all of the property in Long Island City, New York. Oh man, nobody wanted to live over here. I could have bought this for a wooden nickel. Oh man, I could have bought acres and acres and acres. I could have bought houses for $200 a house. Oh man, nobody wanted it. And they missed it, right or wrong, because they were not paying attention. Nobody sat down and told them what we're telling you here today. That's why I'm beating these concepts in your head. Why do you got to keep coming to training? Because your brain will not accept it the first time, because you've been conditioned all your life to think a certain way. And because you've been conditioned all your life, your family, your friends, society, it takes a long time to scrub those ideas out of your head. That it's not about paychecks, it's about profits. It's not about making money in America, it's about making money around the world. It's not about making money 9 to 5, it's about making money 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's not about just helping you, it's about helping as many people as you can. So I'm sharing this with you because the only thing you got to work on here is you. If a cab driver came into this company and took these services and became a millionaire, what does that mean? That means it works. The only thing we got to work on is you. And that's what you're doing here today. And that's why I started my presentation here by acknowledging all of you for being here, because most people will not come. Most people will not come, and most people will look to you in the future and call you lucky. I became gifted in my family. Oh, he was always gifted. Really? You don't even meet my customer. I still have an uncle. I built a beach house for my parents. Brand new beach house. My parents never had one. And we started calling all the relatives. Hey, we got a beach house. 4th of July. And then my Uncle Bernie, who would never be my customer, called me up and said, I heard you guys bought a beach house. I said, what? No, we built it. Oh, really? Man, I heard you guys are doing something in July. Oh, absolutely. We're doing a lot in July. It's going to be a lot of fun. Right on the beach, put your toes in the sand. It's incredible. It's great. Well, can I come? No. You wouldn't support me when I started. This is for customers only. Some of you are going to do the same thing, and it's going to feel good for a minute. Does this help everybody?
Yes.
Get something out of it.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the system. First thing you got to do, schedule a home meeting. Listen, I've done them in one-room apartments. I've done a home meeting where I sat on the bed and there were folding chairs around me and I did a presentation. I've done a presentation in a trailer. My greatest reps came out of a trailer. I literally went to a guy's trailer, I did the presentation, he said, you know who would be good at this? My dad. And I met his dad. His dad said, you know who would be good at this? My financial planner. My financial planner was really good at it. He introduced me to a police officer. The police officer brought 10,000 customers to the table. You know where it started at? A trailer. So whether you live in a trailer, a one-room apartment, here's the good news. If you do this business right, you'll never go back. How many of you agree I don't live where I used to? Right? So you do the business right, you're not going to be there long anyway. Number 2 is tax deductible. Why? You're doing a home-based business. Everything becomes tax deductible for you. Second thing is Saturday. If you can get them from your living room to this training, they will be in your business. They just need more information. They just need more confidence. Remember, they're fighting their family. They're fighting society. They're fighting their friends. Or, right or wrong. That's normal. You have to get them to the training because then they meet you that are here today. How many of you feel a lot better now? How many of you are impressed with the amount of people you're sitting next to? How many of you heard those testimonials and were blown away? Right? You got a chance to hear from regional vice presidents in the audience here today. They can tell you, look, this is what I've done. Here's how my life has changed. Here's how I became successful, and you got real mentorship. Then after that, we do a Friday night leadership. Once you become customer qualified, we bring you to Friday night. You think this is good? Man, you should come to Friday night. Friday night will mess you up. Friday night, man, I couldn't wait. I literally bus, train, walk, fly, didn't matter. I did not miss a Friday night because I wanted what they had. My mentor said, Patrick, if you listen to me, you will become me. And guess what? I became him. And listen, money, there's still problems with money. Those of you that believe that money will take all the problems away, that is absolutely a lie. You will still have problems. I have problems. I got 5 cars and a 4-car garage.
Big problem. Very big problem.
I gotta leave one out. I don't know which one we leave outside. Right? So the problems are still gonna be there, just different kind of problems. Does that make sense? And then the final ones are national convention. At the end of the month, our company's coming together. We are gonna put something together. History will be made at the end of the month. We are gonna launch this ID protection. You wanna recruit every police officer in America? Come to our national convention. Do you realize every police officer will be a rep to sell ID protection? Because they know what I'm telling you. Like, they deal with it. It's gonna be easy for them. They don't have to change their brand. They're already law enforcement. They're gonna be easily like, hey, listen, man, I've locked your social security number down. Let me tell you what happens if you don't. Right or wrong? You know who else will be great? Bankers. Anybody in banking. You know who else will be great? Anybody in insurance. They protect your house. They protect your home. They protect your car. They protect your house. Now they're gonna protect your identity. You know who else is gonna be great? Lawyers. Why? Because they're dealing with people's problems, yes or no? So how do you learn how to recruit those individuals? How do you learn how to build a big team all over the world? You gotta get trained. This is Millionaire 101 training. It's our national convention. Matter of fact, we're gonna be in Charlotte, North Carolina, March 29th, 30th, and 31st. Now, it's the greatest thing that you can do for people you bring in. Like, if you work with me, I will not work with you unless you come to the national, because I cannot teach you what 3 days are gonna teach you. We spend an hour, 2 hours, and 22 minutes together. How many of us think it flew by? How many of us wish school was like this? How many of us wish if you went to school, I don't know, and they had, I don't know, Millionaire 101. How many of us would have took that class? They go, oh, Oprah's teaching it this year. How many of us would have said, oh, I want to go to that class? See, here's what this event does. It gives you the knowledge on how to do it. Confidence breeds action. Confidence breeds action. When you're confident, you take action. When you know that you know, you're able to go take action. The challenge is, how can I get you to where we want you to be mentally on 2.5 hours we can? We can influence you, we can give you some ideas, we can give you some concepts, but you need to be submerged in information. This is 3 days. It's $169 for 3 days. Everybody on your team needs to go. Everybody on your team needs to go. And here's why they need to go, because if they're not trained, they're not going to be successful. This is going to be just a great thing that they try. And they're not going to have success. And they're going to come back 20 years from now and say, I was there when ID protection, you know what you and I all have? I was there at the beginning and I didn't go to the national, I didn't learn how to do it, and it's that story that all of us have in our family. I coulda, I shoulda, I was right in the middle, and I didn't, and because I didn't, I never got anything. You gotta go. Now, for those of you that are sitting here today going, should I go? That's so-called social conditioning. The fact that you're even questioning it means that you're conditioned to think a certain way. Because if I told you it's 50-yard line tickets to the Super Bowl, and it's $169 to sit front row and watch a bunch of millionaires run up and down the field, and there would be no one in this room that would say no. Oh, the Super Bowl? Oh, I couldn't wait to get there. Yeah, really. I love when I see people wearing other people's names on their back. A man wearing another man's name on their back. Like, you're wearing another man's name? Guys that are hearing this right now, I promise you'll never wear another man's name. And every time you see someone do it, you're like, bro. You got another man's name on your back. Another man. Another man's name on your back. I got my name on my back. How about you? Yeah. And so the fact that you're even thinking about should I go means you're socially conditioned to think the way you are. I'm talking about going to a 3-day seminar to get your life on the right track. I'm talking about a 3-day seminar to learn how to become financially free. I'm talking about a 3-day seminar to learn why Amazon's winning, to learn why Uber's winning, to learn why they're disrupting the world right now with the way things are being done, and you can be at the beginning of that. Instead of being the student, you can become the teacher. But it's not going to happen without training. And this training is going to be the greatest thing that any of us have been to. I promise you. And if you go, and it wasn't worth your time, I'll give you all your money back. You call me up. Here's my phone number. Or write this down. For those of you taking notes, write this number down. That's my phone number. You call me up, Pat, it wasn't worth my time. I'll refund all your money. Did you eat? Great. Did you eat at Ruth's Chris? Great. Did you stay at the Four Seasons? Did you fly a private aircraft? I'll give you all your money back. Here's my phone number. 267-971-2871. My name's Patrick. Here's the good news. You don't even have to ask me how I'm doing. My job is to stay alive. That's my job. And what do? Stay alive. I don't jump out of airplanes. I don't take any risks. Why? My job is to stay alive. So customers continue to pay bills and my family continues to make money. How long am I going to make money? As long as people pay bills in this world, yes or no? If cell phones and electricity stay popular, how many of us agree we got an opportunity here today?
Yes.
That's my phone number. Now, that is a money-back guarantee. Now, how many of you went to college? How many went to trade school or paid for education outside of what you're doing now today? How many of us wish they would have said, listen, if you don't get the career you expect based on the educational system we give you, come on back, and we'll refund your money. How many of us think there might be a little line? So here's what I'm going to do. How many of you are already scheduled to go to the National Convention? Wow. Okay, look around. You guys are already going. Congratulations. Now, how many people will you bring? How many people will you bring? That's great you're going. A leader brings people. A leader influences people. A leader gets people to do things they're not going to go do on their own. That's what a leader does. A leader gets people to do things they're not going to do on their own. My mentor got me to do things that I was not willing to go do before him. He influenced me to go do those things. Now, it's $169 for anybody that goes to the National, and here's what we'll do. If 10 of you decide to go, they're going to hand you a form. If you fill the form out today, if 10 of you decide to go, we'll put it in a raffle, we'll pull somebody's name, and we'll pay for your entry ticket in. Now, ACN does not pay me to bring anybody in. ACN does not need me to bring anybody in. 20,000 people will show up without me. If I don't go, it doesn't matter to them. 20,000 people will get on airplanes. They'll get on buses. There'll be people there from Japan. There'll be people there from Australia. You'll see people from around the world. And you know why they're winning? Because they're doing what other people are unwilling to do. So, the greatest investment, and I'm going to lead with this. The greatest investment is an investment in you. Greatest investment. You know why? Henry Ford said something in the book Think and Grow Rich. You know what he said? If you take all my money, I'll make it again tomorrow. Because I know how to do it. That's why people that inherit money are the cheapest human beings on planet Earth.
Yes, that is.
If you know anybody that inherited $1, they're the right or wrong, cheapest you. I can't give any of that. Right? Because they don't know how to make it. People that are self-sufficient, like us here today, that know how to make money, can make it anytime, anywhere, because they know how to do it, because they learned how to do it. This is about learning the ways of the wealthy. The wealthy own businesses. The wealthy make money 24 hours a day. The wealthy have the efforts of other people. The wealthy think it's normal to recruit people. Jeff Bezos has literally hundreds of thousands of people making him money around the world, yes or no?
Yes.
You wouldn't even know his name if he didn't have all those people helping him make money. Everybody who's having massive success is having massive success because they are practicing the ways of the wealthy. They own the business, they make money 24 hours a day, and they have the efforts of other people. That is a wealth-based principle, and if anybody here is talking to anybody that doesn't have those three things going on, do not listen to what they have to say.
Yep.
Period, done. Like gravity, I don't care what your opinion is, it doesn't matter, that is the law, whether you agree with the law or not, that is how the wealthy got wealthy. They own the business, they make money 24 hours a day, and they have the efforts of other people. So here's what we're going to do. All of you guys should have a form. Who needs a form? Who needs a form? One form here.